civilization started over. And this time it's going to be very interesting, geopolitics, and all that stuff. Okay. So the rainbow team, red team, brown team, and lime team are all on one team. But now there's a new program. There's a new team. The Protection Program, or the PP. It's very funny. So it rolls with this blue team, light blue team, the color weird green, purple, black, and white. Okay, so all these guys protect each other from the superpowers. And then now there's the Asian Alliance. Okay, but now first things, these dark green joins this alliance. But now tensions are not really rising. So the red team is just expanding a little bit. How they're not really switching the borders. Light blue team is now planning on just advancing a lot more and just to take the southern part. But then there's a problem. This team decides to how the dark red team wanted this, like around here, but the green team wanted the same territory. The dark green got that. The red team got that. The green got mad and decided to declare a war. The entire alliance is on this team, but because all these superpowers decides to join. Red forces obviously move in, and now a little bit of pushing. Now a world war has just started between all these alliances. Colonization is the key here to start new fronts. Invasion is happening, and all the alliance is very, very powerful now. So these forces move in and destroy dark green team. Dark red team demolishes them, taking front team and obviously moving in. More forces keep on moving in and cutting them off, surrounding them fully. But now, it's been a lot of victories on this side. The Protection Program tries to make a note to make these two allies. It gets intercepted by these guys. They declare war. Now there's a new century. The muskets and the cannons. How these guys trade with everybody before this war started. They declare war on these guys But these guys decided to, how they were kind of scared when they take over, these guys are probably going to join these guys way before, so they declared war on them. So they kind of just got the note. So now war started between all of them. The Protection Program is moving in troops and taking both sides and cutting this resources. Blue team take way more and now starting a new front. The brown team decides to make a little bit of advancements and taking the purple team easily. This is obviously showing disrespect, but what are you gonna do? They're like in an entirely different continent. Two European, but now there's some new teams called, you guessed it, the only, wait, hang on, is this tan? Yeah, okay. This is a new weird country, and, well, they might make a new team. A lot more teams are being formed. By the way, white team is just demolished easily, and now they take half of it. Obviously, these two are trying to fund it, but this team, no, this guy, I'm sorry, I haven't done this in a while. So these forces, wrong color. Forces obviously move in, splitting, taking this position. Obviously moving in, taking white easily, and basically cut off. Moving in, get some red forces, make some camps. The team is completely surrounded, and now the only ones who could really make an advancement is these guys. But so they tried to make an advancement to cut it off. Brown team just does this thing called invading. Very fun. So they learned the art of war. A lot of people don't understand that. So now brown team has a lot of more territory, taking over black. It sounded very racist. I didn't mean it like that. So ugly. So now there's the light green team, who is now halfway France, and now knows these guys. Obviously, everyone knows about these new European guys. They're white and they're weird. That sounded racist again. I don't mean if I... So now they... Wait, are these guys the same color or not? Okay, these guys are the same color. I need to change it. Maybe like... I'm running out of colors. Like this. Is that gray? No, that's... A new country. Form. It's started right here, and now it's right here. They take until meet with these guys. Obviously, eventually a country here. And now, I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably gonna reuse a lot of colors. And now it's the purple team. Yeah, they're back, but it's a different team, if that makes sense. How obviously red team. Now these guys are gonna have a big war, or they're just gonna be friends. And now because I'm gonna be, I didn't mean like, take this. Purple team is pretty big and has an entire continent. How most of the old world is now with each other. Obviously, now a new team is made. It's called the European Alliance, where these guys lead the rainbow team, and now it's just these three. Now they declare war on everyone to make expansion. Red team troops move in to take this. So they try to make a new flank. Making a new flank, obviously, to just demolish the blue team. They always kind of hated the light blue team, but they made their capital right here. They kept on moving it and kept on fighting. Obviously, this war would probably alliance, but because of their betrayal, they decided to create wrong color. Now, some forces, all these forces, European forces, move in to kind of destroy it. Muskets and cannons and all that is being used now. And brown team is being moved in. The Europeans, no, I'm showing strength, but now let's go on the Asian front. The entire front is being demolished. How all these guys are fighting a multiple front war against the Europeans and these guys. Eventually, they would have to declare war. But now it's that time. A lot of navy, a lot of fails. They make a front here. Planning on colonizing Africa. Obviously, it kind of goes kind of poorly. The invasion barely happens. And even if, they got pushed back. Oh, wait. Color. I'm going to be honest. All these colors are just... How? I clicked it. It's this. I remember when it was just red, the red team. Now they obviously move in to meet up with the Blue Brothers and create a new front. Wait, wasn't there like... Oh. Yeah, there was a C there. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Didn't... These maps are pretty confusing. What was I? So, light blue keeps on moving in forces. And now, obviously, because they're all connected, they finally decide to connect. After their new funding, blue team decides to save their other teammates. Obviously, going into this, taking some of their own land as a thanks. Obviously, more troops move in, and now take this. Taking some of this, and now becoming a very chunky boy. Yes, I said chunky boy, okay? That's pretty gay. Now, the European Alliance decides to make a new front. right here at their home base. Red team was scared, and because most of the nation lived around here, it would be very deadly. Oh wait, no, that would be like purple team. Sorry. All their fronts moved in. The capital was just a few, it's like right there. If they took that, they win the war. Hang on, sorry, I dropped something. Hang on, give me a second. What was that? Hang on. Oh, never mind. I think it was nothing. Okay, whatever. So, after this, they make a new front and decides to colonize. Obviously, these guys decides to colonize some of this area and move in. Planning on going through here and try to fight here. Obviously, they don't know the land and we're just guessing, but they were pretty correct. Well, they thought it was going to be pretty short, but no, it wasn't. They obviously thought that they were close. They were miles away. It was very cold and they hated it. But now more forces move in very slowly, but it was very hard. Some of them connected with these Europeans who were used to the cold. They take some. Well, they try their best, but it's pretty hard to how you even not even close to it. Well, they obviously go here, and now because of some sea thing, no. So now, yeah, they made a new front. Purple team's kind of mad, so they said, "Hey, can I have some of the land?" And they said, "Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of just keeping it to start a new front, anyways. I'm probably not even gonna stable it. Very cold, and no one lives there. Obviously, troops move in, start a new front. It's very scary. Now, the nation." Obviously, naval warfare use it's pretty hard this time, but they try to, they do this, trying to split the nation. But now the east is being removed. This front was very strong because they were very high population. They rushed them and basically cutting off this. Obviously, all these troops are destroying them. So red team troops move in, and they block the barrier. Oh shit! They block in the barrier, and now they keep on moving in. This is the First World War, but after this, more forces move in. But now the Protection Alliance decides to do something. Decides to declare war on here to stop their trade, and because. Oh, didn't mean that. Oh my god. Okay, I really messed up. I shouldn't have done this. So yeah, now there's a new strip. Oh, don't care. So, okay, that's I need to fix that. Hang on. My gosh, okay. So why is this not working? And I wish it was like a back button. Christ almighty, no. I hate drawing this. So yeah, the sea rose because of global warming. Yeah. That's what I said. Don't really care. Cancel me all you want, I guess. So yeah, yeah, it looks disformed, so I'm gonna. It looks more chunky, but I don't care. So they obviously make more fronts, but eventually, now they obviously push them back. Now how their plan was to connect these guys and keep on fighting. The protection program has basically collapsed. All these guys might collapse too. Guess what? Red team, with economic aid on both sides, split the nation two teams. Well, actually though, because guess what? A new nation was appeared. It was the white team. Listen, I'm gonna read you a lot of colors, so screw you. Now, obviously, the other side said patriotic, but they weren't part of a program, but they still wanted to kill them. So now, after this, the protection program, or the PP, has basically been demolished. Well, there's still 2 countries left, and they're very stable. But now the blue team heads to split these guys, try to split these guys into 2. Fails, but they meet with these guys, who obviously fight in the peninsula, but don't really go that much. Obviously, being home and going to Asia is pretty hard to do. Well, now, the Tan hasn't really done anything for a while. I mean, obviously they're sending aid here. Everyone's fighting here. But they decided to colonize the Philippines. Or some of it. Obviously, it's a struggle. And it is very hard to take. Because, a lot of tribes. But they just take this for now. So try to colonize more up north, but it's barely enough because cold. Also mountains. Red team realized how there's an entire new front that they had to deal with. That how this war would be different. Now there's 4 teams. How this wasn't just how this started, because this war started. Obviously, the blue team decides to. They are in technically a 3-front conflict. So what the red team, green team, and the dark red team is there. So obviously, it's very hard to make operations or even do anything because just 2 countries versus all of these guys. So they decided to just protect their positions for now. Red team decides to do how they're away from there, and now they're just sending aid from here. They obviously pushed back a little bit, but they're still doing it. But they fight here and crushing the front, and now finally creating a new front. This war is very deadly, but now the rainbow team has a trick up their sleeve. Knowing how the red team is still a world superpower, it's obviously being challenged, because everything, keeping that, because you can't really keep that rule forever unless you're the United States. Then you kind of have to keep that so they know this, but everyone else, because it's a new civilization, knows this. They kind of play mind games called mental warfare. And also they basically split any communications or front around here. That's the shortest way, so they have to go all the way over there. But now it's under pressure now, because guess what? Guess who's invading? The dark reds, who take some of the blue too. This video is probably going to be the longest yet, might be even an hour, but I don't care. They decided to make a conquest up here that will probably go very, very wrong, but hey, I don't control their country. I'm not their government. I'm totally just not, controlling these guys, and they're making their own decisions. The red team sends aid, but eventually they know it's not going to be. But finally, green team pushes in a little bit, and now they're just barely connecting that back, but they still push him back. Now this war is kind of at a conflict. The red team now the red team has to deal with this. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Red team forces to do something. And these 2 islands, they've been very great trading sites, and also trading with these guys and these guys. Well, they decided to use it as a new front, going into Lower Sicily and now invading from here. Now this is might be very, very stupid, because the entire alliance is basically here, and also no one lives here basically, and they mostly live on this coast. So now they just started a new position, and remember, most people travel by land, not by sea. And yes, and it takes like a lot of time to even conquer one island. Remember when they did this? Well, they're trying to do it again, baby. How they moved in here, barely taking anything. Light blue team just does some guerrilla warfare, takes it over. But then guess what? I did the wrong color again. I hate Microsoft Paint. So now war is finally. Now the border. Russia has barely been colonized, but the European countries are now kind of stuck. The red team is far from danger because these two are basically fighting this side. They're not really focused on this side because they think that basically for now these guys are probably gonna the green team's probably gonna cover for them, but obviously they move in. But now now decides to make a new front using here, barely taking this position, but they do. They keep on taking it and making probably modern day Italy, taking positions very slowly. Now, after invading this country, they decided to just make, this a stable part. So, these guys don't make a revolution or everyone won't focus on it. Because guess what? A superpower being in Europe kind of hates this. Everyone's these guys, most of their troops are still here, but they're still sending troops to defend all their borders. And decides to use this as a kind of basically a defense shield to help their coast. But because red teams, so they decided to, guess what, take some more land here. Europe is now it's kind of hard to, they make a new front here. Capital's like around here. So now guess what? They're probably so European powers look like they're gonna lose. But this protection program, but now more blue team is getting destroyed. Some new fronts happening. Green team decides to surrender, being as a buffer zone that no one can go into. How they leave the rainbow team that's just filled with brown and red. How after this they declare war on the green team and invade. The green team makes join it again, but to defend them a lot more. So the troops go in there, but they're still trying to steal these. So they have to make this a buffer zone or just claims. How they wanted to show that they had the most teammates. Well, they decided to, guess what? Declare war in blue again. Yes. Wait, no. They're already at war. Fuck. So, more forces move in, and this. Forces are fighting on the side. Guess what? This world war is very deadly. The most deadliest war so far. But now this world has been changed. But they won't make a treaty. Well, why not, you say? Well, because none of them, are really, a lot of them have a lot of benefits. This could help explore territory. How some countries just want to expand, but they can't by the red team, stopping everyone. How Europe says that they'll carve up the entire world. But that's kind of impossible to kind of win this world war because you've got to take over all of this and you got to divide it up and get mad. How dark red gets to more mad in World War I. The Great War has been very deadly. Muskets are still being fired, and now the old shields of yesterday is now gone. These guys are now advancing more troops. Now these two are superpowers. This one has the most money and population. This one has basically the most. Oh my god, bro. Who's calling me? Not right now. I'll join later. Okay, so after this, part 2, there might be a part 2. But now the capital's right there. Red team forces move in. Yellow hasn't been here for a while now. Red team forces move in, and now they kind of start trying to make peace deals. because they can't survive, because none of these people could have survived this war, but they're already in it, and because they're in it, they can't get out. So all of them decides to. So now this might be a pussy ending, but all of them a lot of protest, a lot of disagreement, and entire new militias are formed in all these countries, and now it's an entire civil war. More people are dead and murdered. Red team is an entire civil war. It's mostly down here. How they feel like it. And it's an uprising made by people fighting over here and here, hand by hand. But now everyone is dying by the inside. Fighting. Muskets are being used. Swords, shields, old, still rocks and sticks are being used to kill their own people. How they can't barely even fight the war anymore, because most soldiers died from revolutions. Red team still makes some advancements still, even though this could destroy their oh wait, I mean that. How they really just want to win this war, but they can't. No one can. There's just too many countries, and you have during a war, if it's even, well then who's really gonna win that? How they decided to just get this and try to fund it, but there's so many rebellions, and now there might be an entire new country made. Yikes. So now the leader decided to make an official statement that they might make negotiations to stop the war. How millions of nations meet up together right here. How they all talk about our nations and why they joined the war and all that. But now no one could fund the war anymore. Obviously they'll still fight it, even though most of these soldiers are going to fight them, kill their own people who protesting or anything like this. These two superpowers now run the world. Now they run this. But now you have to follow two things. These two decided to destroy the PP program, the best program ever, and decides how they hate these guys more and try to join these. Everyone kind of follows them. How the European guys, how they decided to make an agreement. How they would make a ceasefire. And how they would obviously still continue the war. After 2 years of how everyone thought that the war was over, now it breaks out again. Red team forces move in very quickly before a full-scale revolution happens. Blue team is barely even fighting in it because, rebellions are just too strong. They obviously take this, and this. How these two, the biggest alliances, how they're running the show here. If they go to war, then it's it. But they're filled with countries and buffer zones to even get to them. How they'll sacrifice their life before they'll probably get destroyed and run down to get to them. So they're on different sides of the map. Well, I mean, no one owns any of America yet, and now how no one's really colonizing anymore. Colonization is kind of stupid now, but now after a while, obviously, to try to make more forces, but now full-scale revolution's happening again. How these guys make here and decide to get their single fort that was still there, that no one covered, now they were starving. Obviously, well, but now the more they take, more revolutions, more patriots fight streets. Now an entire civil war called the world was basically burning. Muskets shot over. Europe was really the only stable nation because they just joined. How they still have that patriot stage, but eventually they will understand it. Obviously, forces will move in splitting. How they decided to try to split it. Operation by both of them. They split the young nation, making a diversity and using the lake to even trade. How the only way that you could really meet is by fighting or battling. This showed how that they were going to lose this war. But now, obviously, the red team, this is the official. But now, the red team is still a superpower, so eventually green team still comes back and pushes back. Even a lot, though. Taking back their old lands and even old liberties and all that shit like that. Take some of that and it looked pretty good. The nation was never the same. Multiple soldiers line up. They tried to fight it. It was too stupid. I think so. Civilization was even stupid anyways. All this war was getting too deadly. But now, whoever stood out, whoever just dealt with the suffering would win. Red team, so they move in a lot more. And now the official surrender of the blue team happened. When they left the Asian powers, or the Asian team, and now they had a puppet state. They were controlled now. Now guess what? They were split and they could not trade. So now they show weakness. It was split. Obviously light blue. So obviously the other side was taken, and now there was only a few colonies that they left to starve out, to show shame. Blue country. They were given a harsher punishment. They were given this still out of country. Both sides were very patriotic and thought that they were going to win this war. How even the capital was threatened. Both sides. Now, these guys showing how their team losing, they might have surrendered. Hey, we're not going to surrender. Dude, we literally spent our entire economy on this. Who cares? Obviously, to show pride, they try to invade, but it's no use. The green does the tactics and starts moving in. The capital is very close nearby. They take the capital, saying, after they took the capital, now Asia's involvement would be finally gone. The Asian civilization would make a peace treaty. How obviously they get their capital back. How the red team, everyone gets a lot more territory. But because everyone like care about territory anymore, land or resource organization that's care about money, food, and resources. So all the also had to pay a big war reparation that they all paid. It made less money. But now, so it's the European powers. Last ones won. The red team obviously crushes forces, finally using their entire military, showing that they were stronger, how they were more powerful, and how they had to organize, and showing they obviously surrendered. Now, instead of getting land and territory, they had to get economic aid. All of them did. Obviously, these alliances were now kind of broke. Every single one of them felt more weak than before the war. But that doesn't mean no, there was a depression on the horizon. More poor, famine, and now a lot more revolutions try to happen. But now, the World War I's done. Obviously, everyone knew that a Second World War would be coming very soon. Okay, why? Well, because how these guys were barely affected, because guess what? They were very powerful and could probably just say no and just keep on fighting. Their team might fight, but they could just grab their navy. But they can just keep on fighting and just have and then just build stronger while they're still fighting, And how they would get stronger and how they would get weaker, if that makes sense. So when they're fighting these guys would just get stronger. And now the World War would just not surrender, but just keep on happening until they just, have navy, and then they would be way more powerful and probably win the war. So now they're the least affected. But now a spiding hate happened to these two. Now tensions were rising, how their influence had be very big. Both sides now decided to create ideologies. One was concretism. How these guys believe in concretism. How they shall conquer. Believe in how they believe in more libertarianism. These concretism and were very different, and one was how they had different beliefs. They would obviously how everyone had to be libertarian, at least in some way, then they would be happy. Obviously, another world war would happen to prove which ideology is better. Now, that would probably happen next time. Goodbye, and eventually, well, the war would, all this war and destruction, would create probably more world wars. But don't worry, we're only in episode 3, my friend. The only way we're ending this if one country takes it all, or they all die from nuclear explosion. Just goodbye.